Steakhouse sides without the steakhouse prices? Is that even possible? Yeah, it is. We're making Yorkshire pudding, peppercorn sauce, mac and cheese.
Come on, Mom. Shit. It's dinner. Got no allowance. Hungry.
First steakhouse side we're gonna start with is the Yorkshire pudding. It's super delicious. How good is a big, fluffy Yorkshire pudding? And it's crispy and it's soft and you dip it in sauce. But it's only three things. It's eggs, milk, and flour. So my ratio is 3 eggs. That's the first thing in the bowl. Third of a cup of milk, and I start with the wet stuff first. Get that in there. And then the only other seasonings that go in before the flour is a nice pinch of salt. That's gonna make everything taste nice. And you wanna beat that up before you add in the flour. And then you can go in with the dry stuff, third of a cup of flour. But I know Yorkshire pudding is simple in the ingredients, but the technique is super important. So let's just get this batter done first. 3 eggs, third of a cup, magic. Salt, yeah, the salt. Now that batter is super simple to make, but trust me when I say Yorkshire pudding has a procedure. So this batter needs to come up to room temperature. That is very important. Flour is thirsty. You have to let the flour rehydrate. It's got to drink up all of that liquid, loosen up, and when it comes up to room temperature, then it's time to cook it. When you're gonna cook it, 30 minutes before, put your popover or your Yorkie pan in the oven, hot. 400, 425. Get it in there for like 30 minutes before you want to cook it. Those are the greatest tips to make sure you have a puffy, delicious Yorkshire pudding. Simple ingredients, clever cooking. You gotta have something to dip that Yorkshire pudding in. I'm gonna show you a classic way to make a peppercorn sauce that's relatively cheap to do. So it starts with a bit of onion and garlic. I'm gonna use shallot because that's classic and I like that flavor. But for the garlic and the shallot, you wanna cut it up really nice and thin. I like to give this a fine dice, the same as the garlic. To cook the shallots and the garlic, I'm gonna use 2 types of fat. One, a nice little a nice shalt of olive oil, and a little knock of butter. The 2 things are gonna act as a unit to give it some good flavor, but also a little silky shininess. And then once the butter's in with the shallots and the garlic. So you can't have a peppercorn sauce without some peppercorns. You could use black pepper if you want, but I have green peppercorns. These are delicious. They're nice and spicy, but they're also a little creamy inside. They're not as hard as a regular peppercorn. So in with the shallots and the garlic. Butter's starting to foam up a little bit. This is really, really nice. Oh, when those peppercorns get in there, now we're talking. So my friends at Heritage Acres have a distillery and they make some great gin, whiskey, and vodka. Usually you put a little brandy in here or bourbon. I'm gonna use whiskey. You don't need it to fire up. You just wanna get that in there. You want that flavor in there and let it reduce. When it reduces, the alcohol evaporates. It smells super delicious, and then in with more tasty stuff. When the whiskey gets in there, the alcohol burns off, you can smell the sweetness, and to kind of balance out that sweetness, a nice shot of mustard. This is gonna give the sauce texture and sharpness and depth. So get the mustard in just after the whiskey is reduced a little bit. This is so good. You could make this sauce without the whiskey, no problem. And then just as the mustard goes in, a little bit of beef stock. Starting to cook down and get thick and shiny. This is a good time to add a couple finishing maneuvers. Worcestershire, This stuff is crazy. It's got anchovies in it, it's got a ton of flavor, and it's got acidity. It's gonna give the sauce real good balance. And the finishing maneuver here is heavy cream. A nice shot of heavy cream, and then let it reduce by half again until it can coat the back of a spoon. And that's how easy it is to make peppercorn sauce.
Parsley.
Yeah, this is it. Look at that. All right, just to finish the sauce, touch of parsley, turn it off the heat, and what I like to do one more time is just finish with another shot of butter. Look at the texture of this sauce. So shiny, so creamy. It's so delicious. You can put it on anything, chicken, fish, steak, or you can have it just on its own. That is a great peppercorn sauce. Hoo-ah! So many different ways to make mac and cheese, but this is one of my favorite ways if you want to make it quick and you want to make it cheap. So instead of messing with flour and butter and milk and making a roux and thickening it and then wondering if it's too thick, what I like to do is start with good old-fashioned cream cheese. So get cream cheese in your pot. Boom. Then to lighten up the cream cheese a little bit, I put a shot of heavy cream in it just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. And then cheese. The cream cheese is gonna help emulsify everything so it's really smooth and creamy. It's like a bechamel in a can. Then I'm gonna add a ton of smoked Gouda, a little bit of garlic. That's it. It makes the best cheese sauce. Cream cheese, cream, smoked Gouda, garlic, maybe a kiss of salt. That's it. Where are you going? We're driving the mac and cheese. That's what I love about this mac and cheese sauce. You put everything together and then you put it on the heat. Once the cream starts to melt the cream cheese, it's gonna pull in that garlic, salt, and Gouda and just whisk it till it's really nice and smooth. It's the simplest way to make a mac and cheese sauce. It's so good. Smoked Gouda. While the mac sauce cooks down, one of my favorite parts about mac and cheese is the crispy, crunchy topping. This is how you make it. This is how I make it. Nice shot of breadcrumbs. You can use whatever you have. Italian style, panko, do it. And then smoked Gouda in the sauce, smoked Gouda in the crunch. And then I add a shot of oil. It just helps moisten up the breadcrumb a little bit so it can stay in the oven for a long time. I'm already salivating thinking about it. And it gets really nice and crispy. So a good shot of oil. And then just mix those three things together. Almost forgot the best parts. A little bit of crushed chili flakes. I like the spiciness. It's gonna help cut through all the fattiness of the cheese. And Old Bay. I love the smell of Old Bay. It's got celery seed in it, paprika, super good. This is gonna make a great topping. This is nice. Once the cream starts to come up and boil, start whisking the cheese in. The cream cheese is gonna melt, just poke it down. And look at how nice and thick and creamy it is already. I have no idea where you are. Are you still here? Finally, I'm alone. This is really nice. Once everything is melted, it's good to go. Now there's a bit of a rule here when I make mac and cheese. You want a good cheese sauce to mac ratio. If you ever find that your macaroni and cheese, you're like, it's just not creamy enough. why isn't it creamy enough? That's because you put too much noodle in there. You want a lot of cheese sauce. It almost like 50-50 noodles to cheese sauce. So I start with just a few noodles and mix it in. You can use whatever cooked pasta that you want. I'm using this elbow macaroni, but look at this. If you put too many noodles in there, you don't have enough ratio of cheese to noodles. You'll over noodle it and you won't have enough cheesiness. But this way, you have a lot of cheese to noodle. That makes a great mac and cheese. So creamy, so good. You want lots of cheese sauce. That's where the money is. Flatten it out just like that, and then go with the topping. That is mac and cheese 101. Quick and easy, cheap cheese sauce, and lots of it with a crunchy topping, and then with a little kiss of oil in there and the cheese and the chilies, it makes for the perfect crunchy layer. Into the oven, nice high heat until it's crispy on the top. You're laughing. Okay, so I put the Yorkie pan in at about half an hour ago, so it's gonna be ready for the oil. This is super important. So pull the hot pan out, and you can put some oil in here, or beef fat, clean oil, neutral oil. I'm gonna use olive oil. You want a nice little shot of olive oil in the bottom of each one of them. And then I put it back in the oven just for a few minutes to heat the oil up. And then get it back in the oven and get that oil nice and warm, and then you're ready to pour in the batter. This is very hot and has to go fast. It's good if it's smoking. Put your Yorkie batter in a little vessel and just pour it in. Okay, so once it's back in, get it in the oven and they're gonna puff up. The oven's really hot, like 425, 450, and don't touch it. Freeze! Let them puff up. Okay, halfway through, when they come up over the top, turn the oven down a little bit. Should take 20, 25 minutes and you're in Yorkie heaven. You're welcome. Yes! That, my friend, is a puffy Yorkshire pudding, made really, really fast with simple ingredients. Look at the crispiness of it. That is so cool. Such an amazing thing for eggs, milk, and flour. Get it at room temperature, get that pan nice and hot, and you'll have something really nice and puffy and crispy and super delicious. Baked mac and cheese, one of my favorite sides from a steakhouse, but done with a really simple sauce. And then, of course, peppercorn. You take that, you dip it in there, maybe you're having chicken, steak, fish, a little mac and cheese. Happy days. You don't have to break the bank to have really good food.